beautiful people of the internet. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully great, and welcome to Budget Builds, where we use zero format and achieve maximum efficiency. In today's video, we are taking a close look at Revenant, aka the ballerina of Warframe. But before I continue with the video any further, let's quickly talk about our merch store. So we are selling caps, hoodies, t-shirts and a whole bunch of extra stuff. If you would like to support me or the channel any further, go and buy some merch, and don't forget to tag me on my personal Instagram account at OneManArmyYigit or at OneManArmyYigit_merch, and we'll definitely do some shouts. And don't forget to click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road, shall we? You guys know the drill. Let's go over how Revenant works. Alright, so for his passive, basically if your shield depletes, what's going to happen is Revenant is going to then emit this shockwave that knocks down all close by enemies. It's a pretty good passive, especially if you guys want to get them out of or get out of any sticky situation. However, I've definitely seen much better passives out there. But hey, something is better than nothing. So, on our number one spot we have Enthrall. And the way it works is simple. You look at an enemy, that enemy then becomes brainwashed, and then that enemy will then start attacking its former allies. But if that enemy does die while Enthrall is active, upon its deathbed it will leave like this damaging energy pillar. It's a pretty good ability, especially if you want to shift the aggro onto something else, especially if you guys are playing solo. On our number two spot we have Mesmer Skin. Let me tell you, this is probably Revenant's most pointless yet weakest ability in his entire kit, and let me tell you guys why. Become involved in sentient energy, redirecting damage and stunning all those who dare attack. Stunned enemies can then be enthralled at no energy cost. Here's where I say I think it's a pretty useless ability. Firstly, let's say that there's no point in trying to cast Enthrall onto these enemies if you're going to use Mesmer Skin, because A, it's going to cost you more, because you first have to cast Mesmer Skin, which takes about, according to my build, takes about 12.5 energy. Whereas, if you just cast Enthrall, it's going to cost you 6 energy. Now, I know that Mesmer Skin does offer the ability to stun an enemy, but let me tell you guys, stunning is not enough for me. I feel like if it put enemies to sleep, fair enough, because, you can do a lot when it comes to putting the enemies to sleep. You can execute them, which will immediately kill them, and you can deal a lot more damage, because remember, they're not really aware of your presence if you guys do that. All in all, don't even bother with this ability, pretend it's not there, it's just there for giggles. On our number 3 spot we have ability called Revenant or Reeve. Now this is probably easily one of Revenant's most powerful abilities. Now this is the ability that gives Revenant to self-sustainability. Let's say you guys are low on health. If you guys use Reeve, what's going to happen is all the enemies you pass through with the sentient energy will allow you to recover your health and shields. In fact, you'll steal them from the enemies you just passed through. Pretty good ability. If you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know that I love Warframe that can definitely do self-sustainability at will. And finally, we have Danse Macabre, or I don't know how to pronounce that, but basically it's Revenant's signature ability that I call him the ballerina. And like the usual, he'll spin around like a ballerina and deal lots of damage, easily damaging the particular area in your surroundings. If you guys want to know more about this ability, read the description and feel free to pause the video. Now, one thing I do want to add is that you can actually boost this energy if you hold left click. What's going to happen is you'll boost the stays chance and the damage per second, but it'll cost you more energy drain per second, even if you guys have an extremely efficient build. And another thing I do want to add is that if you guys want the most out of Danse Macabre, I don't know how to pronounce that last word, if you guys want more ability or more efficiency out of it, just take a look left every time he spins. You can spin a lot faster. So this build is purely favors Revenant's Danse and his Reeve, just because I want to deal lots of damage to an area and also I don't want to die at the same time. Another thing I do want to say is that I'm well aware that I've already added one Forma onto this build, so it technically doesn't count as budget builds. But rest assured that all these mods right here is possible without the use of any Forma. If you guys don't believe me, let me show you what you guys can do. So, as you guys can see, Flow takes up 9 mod capacity. Take out your calculator and add all these mod capacities up together and you'll definitely get 74. Excluding the aura, because it is an aura. So with that being said, let's go over why these mods and how they work. Alright, so For our first mod, we have our aura called Energy Siphon, and the way it works is we get more energy regeneration throughout the entire mission, because why not? Next we have Power Drift, Augur Secrets, and Intensify for more power strength. The more power strength we have, the more damage our dance will deal, and also our Reeve will start to take up more health, or you'll return more health when you start dashing into the enemy. So in other words, more damage, more health regeneration. Next, we have Flow for a bigger energy pool. That way we don't restrict any of our abilities in any certain way, and so that our dance can last as long as possible. Next, we have Streamline and Fleeting Expertise for more efficiency. Remember, our dance ability is based off of Drain, and if you guys have been living under a rock, the more efficiency you guys have, the longer your drain will be, or the less your drain will be, and your dance will be working for as long as possible. And remember that dance, whatever it's called, lasts is a drain based ability, so more efficiency, less drain you'll have. Next we have Augur Reach and Stretch for bigger radius, that way our dance can extend throughout the entire map. And finally we have Redirection, which gives us more shield capacity. Now when it comes to redirectional vitality, most of my builds I prefer to run with vitality because I'm an OG Warframe player and I like to do things like that, but redirection is better on Revenant because thanks to his Reeve. When you dash through enemies, not only will you be getting all your health back and your shields back, but also you'll be getting more overshields back as well. So in other words, you're a lot more tankier. So by you having redirection, you can have a much bigger overshields up. Now, in the Arcanes department, listen, if you guys do not have Arcanes, it's not the end of the world. This is just my advice if you guys do have Arcanes. I'm just going to be rolling out Arcane Energize for more energy and Arcane Guardian for more armor. Now, the reason why I want to go with Energize is, yeah, I know I can never ever run out of energy, but thanks to Revenant's dance ability, what happens is that if you guys decide to left click, it starts to take up a lot more. And even if you guys have got all these efficiency mods on, Revenant's number 4 still does take up a lot of energy to use, so keep that in mind. By you having Arcane Energize, it just helps you out when it comes to energy regeneration. And also Guardian, because Revenant is still a pretty squishy Warframe, and by you having Arcane Guardian, you're giving yourself a much more armor value and making your life a lot more easier. So let's put this build to the test, shall we? Alright, so as you guys can see, Revenant, he is doing his job. He's not entirely destroying the enemies, but I'd say in my personal books he's actually doing pretty good. Now when it comes to killing the enemies, if I'm being honest with you guys, I wouldn't go with Revenant because yes, he's a pretty decent Warframe, but I mean compared to other nukers like Gara, Saren, or everybody else, Revenant isn't exactly the best, but I do have fun using him because thanks to his dance ability, it's actually an interesting way, yet more mobile way of doing things, because you activate dance, and as you guys can see, there's a huge light show that happens. And another thing I don't like about it is the fact that even if your build is the most efficient as possible, you still have to sacrifice a major component, whether that being range, whether that being power strength. The point is, in my opinion, this is probably the most range you guys can, or the most efficiency you guys can actually get out of this build. Now, like I said previously, I do know that if you hold left click, you'll start dealing more damage, more stays damage, but the problem with that is that your drain will be a bit too much. Another thing I do want to add is that if you guys do spin all the way, if you guys are mouse and keyboard, you can just spin, you can use your mouse and just drag your entire mouse across the whole mouse pad. And another thing, I do know that with this build, the fact that you do have a lack of duration, it does affect Reeve, it doesn't last as long. That's not too much of a problem because you guys can just spam that ability thanks to our max efficient builds, thanks to Streamline and Fleeting Expertise. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys have liked the video or it's genuinely helped you, remember to leave a like and don't forget to spot and click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos. I'ma make like a banana and split.